and welcome back to the first edition of Inside the Headset with the 2018 state champion of 6A, and that's Kevin Creasy with the Oakland Patriots. How you doing, Coach Creasy?
Doing good, Stuart.
A little rough start. That's all right. We got it out. Talked to Creasy. I've talked to Rick Rice, talked to a couple of coaches and everything. Let's talk to Coach Kevin Creasy. Where is the Oakland Patriots? Where are you guys at right now? And you've been through a little bit of two-a-days, and we've hit a little bit. We put them on the bus and played a couple of jamborees, and Friday night you got your first contest. Let's talk about the Patriots and the 2019 team.
Yeah, preseason seemed like it took forever. It was a little longer than it was last year.
That late week kind of threw us off, didn't it, Coach?
It did.
Because I felt like last Friday night I should be in a game,
No doubt. And, we've had some good scrimmages, had some good competition. Went with Cane Ridge, who's going to have a good season, and McCauley, Brentwood Academy. I think Gallatin's going to be really good this year. So it was a lot of challenges, and you love going against good people as long as nobody gets hurt.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, we had one of our better players, Jordan Brown. He had an injury, just a fluke tackle, and he had surgery last week, and so we're expecting him back. About 8 weeks or so. But we're definitely gonna miss him. But besides that, I think these preseason games told us a lot about ourselves, and if it tells us anything, we got a ways to go.
Well, and what do you try to do? Where do you try to start? You won some rings at Trousdale, and now you come back and you're trying to explain to the returning guys and everything. So what's kind of been that conversation as you add in freshmen and maybe some, we understand we do have a new gentleman that's moved in that's playing the quarterback position, but how do you start to say, okay guys, that was then, that was a lot of fun, we put that up, now it's 2019.
Yeah, that's $1 million question. You're dealing with teenagers, and they got a lot of slaps on the back in the off season, and try to explain to them that last year's team was last year, and so we got a ways to go. Just overcoming that obstacle of realizing that everybody's not just going to lay down for you. You're going to have to bring it every Friday night. And I think Hendersonville will be the first one to challenge us on that. They're going to make sure that they realize that this is a team that didn't win a state championship. We got a few contributors, but not many. And then, of course, we may see Hendersonville twice in the season. And, they're going to show that they can hang with us. And they did it last year. It was 14-0 with 2 minutes to go last year, and gave us all we wanted. I have a lot of respect for that region they play in. It's tough, just like ours. And, our guys better be ready for the challenge Friday.
Yeah, and you've been going through some facility changes, and we'll get to that here in a little bit and everything, and that kind of throws a little things off because there's stuff going on that normally ain't going on over there. It's quiet, but now you got a lot of stuff going on over there, which is something that's going to be good. But other than that, how are you doing on your special teams? You let go of a great kicker, and now but you had something, we saw some evidence last year from time to time. You worked down to that third deep kicker. How's that battle going in the special teams? Two great guys that you got coming.
Well, I tell you, I love our kicker this year. You're going to be saying the name Turk a lot this year, but he got some experience last year, valuable experience, but you talk about the facilities. Here's one thing that he's had to deal with is they've taken down our goalposts, so he's had trouble going out on a real field and kicking field goals, and it's been a challenge for him. And we're going to have new goalposts up, and that's going to be great. And our old goalpost is going on the practice field, so he'll be able to kick 7 days a week once we get this.
But that's not done yet, and we got a game problem
right now. We've been practicing. Kicking between some hashes and stuff like that. So that's been
kind of like rugby.
Yeah, he's been sneaking in on some other people's fields and getting some work in. But
appreciate those teams allowing him to come on.
Well, I don't know if they allowed him to, but he's been finding ways to get on other fields and kick. And so it's just hard to get our whole battery, our snapper, our holder, our kicker, all on the same page because we're missing some goalposts.
And to work that play in and do it, and get everybody live and watch the football go through, that's part of it. Right. That's part of the mindset.
We've done special teams in every scrimmage. We've done every special teams in every scrimmage just to kind of get a look. And I think it's going to be one of those deals where we have a good special teams coordinator in Jeremy Anderson. We have a great kicking coach. Man, he has got it rolling where we've got guys that are training under him all the way back to Pee Wee ball.
That's great.
So we're going to have kickers for years to come as long as I can keep Coach Boren-Bozen. Vladimir Boren-Bozen has been just a savior for our special teams.
Did you know that there was that much in it? You knew the kicking game and everything, but did you know mechanically as you start to watch these guys develop, did you know how much time and how precise it is to do what these guys do?
You just can't roll the ball out there and say, have at it, and a lot of these guys have a soccer background, but it's totally different than soccer. So you got to work at it. I was lucky to have a kicking coach at Trousdale, but it was one of my kicker's dads. But he was willing to put in the hours. And same thing with Vlad. Vlad puts in the hours. He puts in the time, and he wants them to do well. And like I said, we've got a guy that had a full ride to ETSU because of it.
That's right.
ETSU's a playoff team, and he's already starting as their punter up there, from what I understand. So we're real proud of Garrett Taylor. But I went to the middle school game the other night to watch Kyler and the guys play, and his little brother, the guy that won Mr. Football, his little brother is kicking now for the middle school team.
That's great.
They're doing a great job.
That's great. Normally in middle school you don't see field goals. You don't see that many field goals. You'll see them go for two.
Right.
Because it's just a simpler thing in an 8-minute football game usually.
Right. But you look at it. Garrett Taylor won Mr. Football as a kicker in all classifications. When I had a kicking coach back in Trousdale, his son won Mr. Football in all classifications.
You know the importance.
There's something to be said about a guy that's willing to put the time in with those guys that are kicking.
It'll come down the road. It'll come in somewhere down the road. It's a third of the game, and we all know that. Offensively and defensively, lost some key linemen and everything. How we filled in those gaps, Coach?
Yeah, we've had some guys that had to step it up, and our offensive line, Coach Watson, is in charge of our offensive line now, and he's put some guys in that could have been the fourth-string fullback, or they could be the starting guard. So we got a bunch of unselfish guys that are stepping in, filling key holes for us, and doing really good. And then of course our defense, we've got a bunch of those guys returning from defense, but we also lost some guys. Our defense has lost a cornerback that's gone to Oklahoma. We lost a D lineman that's going to South Carolina. Another D
and good for them
is he's down at Itawamba at a junior college.
Yeah.
So we can talk about all the guys coming back, but we lost some really.
And those guys were Friday night football players, playmakers on the field. That if the ball comes their way, they're going to make a play.
Right, and they were good leaders too, man. You don't get no better than those three. Tacoy Randolph, Woody Washington, Joseph Anderson.
They're laying it on the line.
Man, they're good in class. They're good watching film. They're good in the weight room. They're good in practice. We got some guys, they won't be good on Friday, but I don't know if they're willing to do those other things to be good all the time, 7 days a week.
Ever-changing thing of young kids coming your way. So we do have Hendersonville Friday night. They're known to be a wing T team and under the direction of Coach Beasley and everything. So you've seen a little bit of video and everything. Has that changed, or are they still wing T at Hendersonville?
No. From what I see, they're wing T-ing it. They've got a really big quarterback like ours, and they've got the ability to spread it out if they need to. But we don't have much film on them. They don't have much on us, but we have what they had last year because we saw them in the playoffs. They got what we had last year. And Leopard don't change the spots too much. They've won plenty of ball games in Hendersonville running the wing T. And Coach Beasley's got his own, way of running it. And like I said, he'll spread it out and still do wing T concepts, kind of like what we do. So we got a lot of respect for Hendersonville and the way they've always done things. And like I said, we knew it was going to be a challenge. It's always good to open up with a good opponent.
Absolutely.
Last year it was Independence. Always like playing Coach Blade and the guys because you knew they were always going to bring it. And then, when I first got here, we're playing Hoover for crying out loud. So it was always a good measuring stick. And like I said, we may end up seeing Hendersonville a second time in the playoffs. You just never know. Well,
let's talk about the logistics here on the campus of Oakland High School. You you are in the turfing business, and that is a good business and a bad business in some ways, because now you got a new payment book at the bank, which that's not good. But you got a field that's ready to go anytime you want it, anytime you snap your fingers, and I'm sure you're going to be renting that field. My brother was talking to me about Cal out of Louisville. And he said, that program up there, the field is rented, it's slotted time, it's online. If you want to inquire about leasing the facilities and all that, that's part of it. It is a business. It is an ROI opportunity for you guys. But at the same time, man, as many sports that are played now, I'm going to tell my age. I graduated in '86. But there wasn't lacrosse, there wasn't soccer, there wasn't those other sports. And they got to have their time on the field, and they got to have use of the facilities also, and you kind of got to bend and work around with them. But it's going to be a nice addition to have the turf, isn't it?
Yeah, and I've been at schools before where they've told soccer to get their own field or go somewhere else to play. And then they've ran off pee-wee football teams because a lot of times they'll stay in one spot and just run over and over and over the same piece of grass. You ain't got to worry about that anymore. So we always want any sport that wants to use it, we want them to be able to use it. And, we had some church the other day wanting to spend a few thousand and rent it out and have a concert here.
That's great.
And,
that's what it's going to be for.
I think we're going to be able to do it next year. And, they'll have plenty of seats. Hopefully it'll be a packed house. I think they want to have a free concert, but then they're going to rent out our space.
Yeah.
And, what are they going to do? Wear out of grass? No, they're going to just set up a stage, and when they're done, they're going to move it on. So, yeah, there's plenty of opportunities to use the facilities.
And I'm glad. Our
and it's going to be 12
it.
months a year.
Yes.
We ain't got to worry about anybody killing it in the wintertime. We ain't got to worry about anybody stepping on sprigs in the spring. So I think we'll be fine, and it's a great investment for our school, our Oakland community. Our middle school is over there, I think it's 5 lanes of traffic that they got to cross to come over here to practice on a piece of grass. It looks like my backyard. I mean, right
Your
now.
Your backyard isn't in very good shape.
No, it's not. No, it's not. And I mean, they're practicing on like a yard.
Yeah.
It doesn't have lines. It doesn't have, flat.
It doesn't feel like the real. I mean, you got to get in the. We always talked about it when I was down in youth football at Smyrna, and Coach Edie, who's going to be joining me Saturday night for the broadcast. We talked Friday. We talked about that. Is our job is to give the kids the best possible experience at that youth football age, so they'll stay in it. You want them to stay in it and grow and come on up and go from triple P, triple C, triple B, and triple A.
Right.
You want them to go right through it and then come on up here and see you.
Well, I mean, it's just hard to run a 10-yard out when you don't know what 10 yards is.
That's right.
So, we want those guys to be able to come over and use our facilities. And like I said, hopefully we'll have that done in a week or two. We got more stuff to worry about from Hendersonville than we do about turf.
Coach, anything else you'd like to say? Faculty, staff, administration, everybody, maybe citizens of Murfreesboro. You need a little money, don't you? I mean, there's still opportunity to pitch in and be a part of this turf field, isn't there?
Yeah, there is. And I thought there was a deadline on the advertisement. I thought it had to be in by August 1st, but they told me, they're like, listen, we're still putting stuff in over at Blackman's Field. If you got somebody interested in being a part and putting their ad on the field, do not turn anybody down.
Cut a deal.
Yeah, they said right now is the time. We can still get it going because they got all kinds of manpower and hands on deck and trying to get this thing done. So if anybody's interested, just holler at one of our coaches or one of our principals, and we'll be sure to get your ad on the field.
Well, I'll tell you one thing, we'll be over here and from time to time, and every highlight video and everything, I post all my stuff and I lay it up there on YouTube for archive purposes, and years from now, those logos will still be there when somebody pulls it up to see so-and-so run that famous touchdown. That ad will be there. So,
Well, that's what we like about
it's branding. There is branding in it.
When we talk to people about putting their ad on the surface, people are like, I've never even heard of that. And I'm like, well, you're putting money into banners on fences. How long is a banner going to last?
Right.
I mean, and plus, who's looking at the fence during a football game?
You're following the ball.
Everybody's looking at the field.
You're following the ball in the field.
And, we went back and looked, and we had with this Facebook Live, TWSAA set us up with Facebook Live, and they did some broadcast of our playoff games, which I don't even remember agreeing to it. But I don't think it was up to me. But that helped us in the long run, because with your viewings and the viewings that we had throughout the playoffs, people watched our game. We had over 250,000 different clicks, 250,000 different visitors, 250,000 different views of our ball games, and that's what advertisers are looking for. Well, and of course, they're not looking up on the jumbotron when they're at home in November and it's raining. They're not looking at the jumbotron. They're not looking at a sign on the fence. They're looking at that field because that's what the camera's going to be shooting. And there'll be a lot of opportunities for good advertising for anybody that wants on our field.
Well, I can't thank you enough, and faculty, staff, everybody here in Rutherford County, especially Oakland, you guys, and you. I always tell everybody it's Riverdale, Blackman, and Oakland. I take a big risk by running around and doing and not hitching my wagon to one school, but at the same time I'm able to grow great relationships, watch kids turn into young men and go on, or whatever we video, and it's just a lot of fun. And like I said, somebody told me tomorrow if I had to give it up, I'll take the relationships I've got and the fun we've had, because I tell you what, we've had a lot of laughs and and a lot of kids come back and say, Storka, do you have this video or do you have that video? And I say, it's probably online, check it, here's the link, whatever,
Right.
So, well, I get a lot of calls for that. Well, let's wrap it up. Friday night fans, load up with the Oakland Patriots and Coach Kevin Creasy and the new 2019 team, and you go up to Hendersonville, take on the Commandos and Coach Beasley, and y'all be there. That kickoff is at 7 o'clock.